So question 20 is a perimeter question. So it says, which of these shapes has the greatest perimeter? Now you can see that shape A is an equilateral triangle. So if one side is 4x plus 1, then all sides must be 4x plus 1. This one here is shape B is a rectangle. So if the width is 2x minus 1, we can put it on the opposite side. And if the length is 4x plus 3, we can put it on the opposite side also. So shape A is basically getting the perimeter of shape A is adding all your sides up. So you'll see 4x plus 1, 4x plus 1 and 4x plus 1, but we'll put in an add sign in between them as we're getting the perimeter. When we collect the like terms, 4x plus 4x plus 4x is 12x, 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So that's your expression for shape A for the perimeter. For shape B, it's again, we're adding all the sides up. So you can see 4x plus 3 there, 2x minus 1, 4x plus 3 and 2x minus 1. And we've put pluses in between each one. So we simplify it by collecting our like terms. So 4x plus 2x plus 4x plus 2x is 12x. 3, take away 1, add 3, take away 1 is plus 4. So that's your expression for the perimeter for shape B. For shape C, we just add all our sides up. So you can see 2x plus 3x plus 2 plus 6x plus x. And when simplified or collected like terms is 12x plus 2. Now you can see they're all 12x's. So the question was asking for the greatest perimeter. Because this one has plus 4 on it, then basically you have shape B as the greatest perimeter. So question 21, a shop sells 80 gift vouchers valued at £5, £10, £20, £50 or £100. The table shows the number of each sold one weekend. You see all the numbers there. So it says the shopkeeper states on average people spend at least £15 on the gift voucher. By finding all these three averages, mode, median and mean, which average makes her statement correct? So first of all, we find out what the mode is, and it's the most common. So we can see that there was 34 sold there. So that's the highest that sold. So that's the most common. £5 would be the most common one. Next one is median, is the middle number. So what we've done is we've added the frequency up, which is 80, and halved it to find the middle number, which then becomes, we're looking for the 40th number. So when we're looking for the 40th number, we can keep adding until we find roughly where the 40th number would be. So we start at 0 there, add 34, which is 34, so that the numbers in here between 0 and 34. And then we do 34 plus 26, which is 60. So we can see here that the 40th number is somewhere in between here. So you'll see that £10 is the median for this one. So the next one is the mean. So we have to find an FX column here. So what we're doing is to find this is your FX column at the end. So what you're doing is multiplying these two together. So it's 5 times 34, 10 times 26, 20 times 9, 50 times 7, 100 times 4. And we get this column here, which is your FX column. We add those up and get a total of 1,360. What we do is we take the 1,360 and divide it with 80. And that is £17. So the mean would be £17. And the final answer is, well, the actual question was, by finding all three averages, which average makes her statement correct? So the statement was, on average, people spend at least £15 on a gift voucher. So the answer is mean, £17 is obviously more than 15 because you can see the other ones are below £15. So for question 22, this is a substitution question. So it says BMI, body mass index, is calculated using the formula BMI equals W over H squared. So Mark has a BMI of 22. His height is 1.83 metres. Calculate his weight. So we've set up the equation there. So BMI equals W over H squared. Then we substitute everything in, so we've substituted 22 in and we've 1.83 squared. We have to find out what W is, so we multiply each side by 1.83 squared, which then gets rid of the one on the right hand side. So what we've got is 22 times 1.83 squared, and then we work that out through our calculator, which is 73.6758, and the final answer there is 73.7 kilograms. For question 23, it's just an algebra question. It's just wanting to solve it. So the first thing you would do there is expand the brackets. So 5 times 3x is 15x, 5 times minus 2 is minus 10. And then we start rearranging. So to get minus 10 onto the other side is you add 10 on each side, and you should get plus 10 on the right hand side there. To get 7x onto the left hand side, you're taking away 7x on each side to get that. So what we've got is 15x take away 7x, which is 8x, and 4 plus 10 is 14. So x is going to be 14 divided by 8 there, which is 14 over 8 as the answer. So for question 24, it says, find the highest common factor of 24 and 40. So there's one way of doing this. You can just get the factors of 24, which is 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. And do the same for 40, 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. And find out what the highest number there is common between both. And you can see that 8 is common between both, and it's the highest number of that. So 8 is the highest common factor. Then it says write down two numbers greater than 1 which have a lowest common multiple of 48. So the two answers there are 3 and 16. So 3 times 16 we make 48, and that would be the lowest common multiple of that. So write down the two numbers greater which have a lowest common multiple of 14, and 3 and 16 is the answer for that question B. So question 25 is a Venn diagram question. There are 35 students in the form class. Some students study art, some study technology, some study engineering, and some study a combination of these subjects. Some study none of these subjects. The Venn diagram shows some information about the number of students studying the subjects. So it's giving you information there. So 5 students study technology and engineering, 14 students study art, 8 students study engineering. Use this information to complete the Venn diagram. So when it says 5 students study technology and engineering, so it will be this in between those two, technology and engineering, and you'll find that 3 and 2 would equal 5. 14 students study art, so you can see this big circle here would be the 14, should be in this circle. We've got 6, 7, 8 and 9, and that should be 5, which would make 14. 8 students study engineering, so everything in this circle should add up to 8. So we get 3, 5 and 6, and this one should be 2. And whatever's left out here we have is 7. Because when you add all these up and take it away from 35, you should get 7. So use the Venn diagram to calculate what percentage of technology students also study art, but not engineering. So we've got 6 out of 20. So it's calculate the percentage of technology students also study art. So we look at technology, also study art, but not engineering. So it's this 6 here. And if you add all of everything in technology here, it should equal 20. So it's 6 out of those 20. And then we change it to a percentage by timesing it by 100, which ends up being 30%. So question 26, it says work out the midpoint of the line PQ joining those coordinates there, P and Q. What to do first? Normally it would be just to lay them on top of one another. So I've got P is 4 and minus 6 and Q is 8 and 2, and I've labelled the X and Y at the top. Now to find the midpoint, you have to add your X's and divide by 2, or half it. So this is what we've got. We've got 4 plus 8 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. Next one is we add our Y coordinates and divide by 2. So minus 6 plus 2 is minus 4, and then divide by 2 is minus 2. Next one, 27, calculate the volume of a cylinder with a diameter of 12 centimetres and a height of 15 centimetres. So to find that out, we use the formula pi r squared times height. So all that means, the pi r squared part of it just means the area of the end or the circle, the cross section. So this circle has if you find the area of a circle, it's always pi r squared, and then you just times it with the height or the length there. So remember, r stands for radius, and we have the diameter, so we have to halve this diameter to 6. So it's pi times 6 squared times 15, and we get a decimal like that. And we finish it off by doing 1696.46 centimetres cubed, because it is a volume. So for question 28, a badge is made from a triangle and 3/4 of a circle. So whenever they mention 3/4 of something or half of a circle, it is quite important that you take that into consideration when working things out. So it says, work out the perimeter of the badge. So we're looking for part of the circumference of that circle. So you can see it says 3/4 of a circle. So if we look at it here, it's 3/4 of the circumference. Now you can use pi times diameter, but in this case I've used 2 pi r. So it's 2 pi times the radius. So when you times 2 pi times 6, all you're doing is 6, the radius is 6, as you can see there, so that's what's been put in here. And we just do 3/4 of this. And you just key that into a calculator and you should get this number here. Next is, because we're looking for shapes in here, and we can see a right angle triangle, and we're looking for this hypotenuse here. So you can see that it's 6 and 6. So to look for the hypotenuse, you square those two sides, 6 and 6, and add them together. So 6 squared, x squared equals 6 squared plus 6 squared. And we find out that's 72, and then we square root at the end, and we get the length of the hypotenuse. So we've got the length of the curved part of the diagram, and we've got the length of this straight edge there. So to get the perimeter, we have to add them together. So we've used the big numbers from the calculator just so we get a more accurate answer. And we get 36.75961525. And when we round it up at the end, we can see it would be 36.76 centimetres for the total circumference of that diagram.